your life.
Okay.
Your job, to your banking, to your driving, to everything that you do on an everyday basis all your life, the straw man is affecting.
Okay. So,
especially if you don't know about it.
Indeed. So, give us an example. You know, when you say our jobs and our banking, how so?
Well, the thing is, if you come to the meeting on Saturday, I will explain because it is quite complicated. On the banking, they use your straw man. They don't. You just take responsibility for the straw man when you sign the papers at the bank. But really, it's the straw man they're interested in, not you. You just a surety for the straw man. So when the bank lends you money, they don't really lend you any money. They just lend you paper. You go in your trust fund and get paid, but under the straw man, this kind of stuff that people are not aware of.
Okay, so the bank being a corporation and your straw man being all capital letters is a corporation. Is that why they're more interested in the straw man as opposed to you, the flesh and blood being?
Okay, no, if the straw man is made for a purpose, it's made by them for a purpose where they can take it and make money on it without informing you.
Right.
So when you go to the bank, you don't know about your straw man, but you're signing papers for loans that they're getting the money from under the straw man's account.
Right. Okay.
So without the straw man, we would not be able to have corporations interacting with us.
Right.
Because if you're real, corporations is a fiction, they cannot interact with real people, so they have to have a corporation to interact with. And your straw man is a corporate name.
Right. So the straw man has a value, and they're basically feeding off of the value of the straw man.
Yes, without telling you, which is fraud, deceit, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. It's everything.
Okay, so the capitalized letters that when we get our letters coming through the letterbox, be it a gas bill, electric bill, water bill, council tax, and it's all in the names of capitalization, that it looks like our name, but it's not actually us because it's that capitalized name. That in itself is the straw man.
Yes, that is your straw man, and that's what they're using. That's what corporations have to use.
Right.
Everybody, oral contract, and it's under contract law. So oral contracts, everything that you deal with on a daily basis has to do with your straw man. You get a speeding ticket, you get a parking ticket, you get credit card loans, everything is to do with your straw man. It has nothing to do with you. You're just the surety for it, which you don't know.
Right. So
you get the bank record, you get the checkbook, and they give your name in all caps at the top. They volunteer to give you checks with your name and address. And at the bottom of the check, you just sign and as authorized representative with the straw man at the top. And in between the checks, there is your name, there is the authorized representative written in there that you cannot see unless you have special technology to look at it. But it's there, right where you sign in.
So you're saying there's super fine print there that we're not able to see with the naked eye?
Yes.
Incredible. The
straw man is everything. The straw man is everything to do with your everyday life.
Right.
You and your children.
Wow. Okay.
So we can't get away from. That's what sets off this pyramid, I would say, because we really at the bottom of the pyramid. The straw man is at the top. That's the only thing they can put forward to do business with.
But Zoe, I want to ask a question. The word straw man, where did it come from? If you
Well, that's quite another subject because it came from your birth certificate to start.
it comes from, sorry, it comes from your birth,
From your birth certificate, yes.
the birth certificate.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's
The
interesting.
birth certificate made the straw man.
The birth certificate is made in a straw man.
Yeah, they take your birth certificate and they make a name in all block letters, and that's your straw man. And this is why now I think the government is saying that you have to register your child's birth, if not you will be fined. I never knew that when my grandparents were alive. They used to put our names in Bibles. Now you have to register the child, and they have all kinds of excuses why you have to register the child's birth. But they never tell you the truth.
Right. This is
So
quite.
from the day you give them that birth certificate, it's made into they create the straw man in the block letters, and they attach the national insurance number to the straw man. It has never been attached to you.
Okay then.
Your national insurance number is not attached to you at all.
Well, let me see if I can get this straight now. So what you're saying that once you've given your birth certificate, if I'm right saying that, you've created a straw man. As a straw man, no? Okay then. So what is it to do with the birth? I understand. I'm not too clear about the birth certificate because people might be listening and want to understand the birth. What's the birth certificate do with the straw man? What's the connection with the birth certificate?
And the straw man?
Yeah.
Well, without the birth certificate, they cannot make the straw man.
Okay then. So without the, hold on, let's be clear. Without the birth certificate, you can't create the straw man.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I can't hear you very well.
Yeah, look like communication is very poor here. So what you're saying is that without the birth certificate, there's no straw man.
No, there would be no straw man. Yes, you're right.
Okay then.
Without the birth certificate, they cannot make the straw man.
Right.
So that's why they're going to take you to fine you or take you to jail if you don't register the birth. That means there's no money going in the money machine.
So once you've so what we're saying really, once you got a birth certificate, right? Basically, they're making money out of that because you're in a contract now. Yeah, am I right in saying that?
You're what? Sorry?
You're in a contract. You're in some kind of contract because they've got your birth certificate, so they make money off your birth certificate.
No, it's not a contract. The birth certificate goes out there with your national insurance number on it.
Yes.
And it goes in the stock market and it starts making money from the time you were born.
All right. So, all right then. So, yeah, Adam, King.
Okay. All right, Brother Dougie's just taking another call, Zoe. Okay, so it's the stock market that's basically generating the income.
Where do you think these people get money to build roads and build nuclear power stations and all these kind of stuff and pay for trains and have water and lights? It's our money. It's all paid for by us already. So we should have all these things given to us and we don't have to pay anymore.
I hear that.
It's ours. You should be able to walk into a car company and choose whatever car you want and just drive out with it.
And the same applies to having a house as well. We should be able to
Yes, the house. Everything is paid for by you and your birth certificate and the straw man.
Wow.
This is making millions in the stock market, millions.
So what would you say the average person's birth certificate is valued at?
It starts off with millions of pounds.
Right.
And it generates and generates. Sometimes you may have over 100 million pounds in there.
Wow.
Or more, because It's just paper. What they're doing, they're generating this money on paper. They're selling the stuff on the stock market. They bundle it up. So if 1,000 babies born today, that 1,000 babies birth is registered, and they bundle it up and they put it in the stock market and they stick this national insurance number on it. So the national insurance number becomes your QSIP number on the stock market.
Interesting.
It's good if I could teach this to people so they will know how to handle their affairs without being strangled. Every time you get a paycheck, it's going back to them anyway. So they get everything out of us, everything.
So the bills are basically paid for. Your gas bill, your water bill, your electric bill, your council tax is already paid for because they're getting it from the corporate construct, which is basically our trust via the birth certificate. But yet, when you go and pay this bill because you believe that you have to, they're getting what we call double bubble. Because they're being paid by the Treasury, who they go and get the money from in the first instance, and then they get the money from you again, so they're being paid twice.
Yes, if you buy a house, it's paid for. That's it. Once you sign on the dotted line, they get the money. But then they turn around and make you, because they do what you call legalese in their language. So what they do is they turn around and make you a renter for 30 years, 25 years, but they make sure that you have good credit and you're a good little borrower, and then they lend you, they say, 100,000 or whatever it is. So they guarantee that you are going to be paying them for all this time. If not, they have nothing to lose because they've already got paid, and then they take the property away from you, which is substance, because they didn't lend you any money, they lend you paper, and they take your property and they sell it, and then they still come after you for more money. Oh, I didn't sell it for enough, so here you go, you owe me £40,000. But when you ask them to show you how, they say, I don't have to show you that. How you like that for being deceitful and fraudulent and stealing, really?
However, one can force them to show because you're in a contract with them, right? The minute they're taking money from you, that means there is a contract between you, and they must show you if you demand to see that particular document.
I didn't hear the last sentence.
Yeah, the fact that they're not revealing the information to you, and you are already in a contract with them, they are duty bound to show you that information, are they not?
Of course they are.
Right.
But they know they knew from the time that you signed and you didn't ask no questions that you don't know. So they take it for granted that we're ignorant of the law.
Yes.
And they take advantage of us, and that is called fraud. That's what they do.
Wow.
See, they fraudulently get our money without telling us. Every time you sign your name somewhere, money is going out of your account.
Wow. And there's nothing one can do until you get the correct knowledge in order to challenge it and take charge of it, right?
Yes, if you do not know the law, they know. They're well aware when you don't know the law. So if you learn the law, as I say, knowledge is power. It's better than money.
Absolutely.
So if you do not know, then you'll be forever blind.
Yes.
If you want to learn the law and you want to get out of the system and walk away from them, you have to learn the law. And you have to learn it properly and correctly. Because when I write to the bank and ask them for information on the trust fund, the bank goes back and says it's sensitive material. How could it be sensitive material if it's my money?
Exactly.
Understand what I'm saying? So if they had written and said, well, I don't know what you're asking about because there's no trust fund that I know of, then I could understand, okay, well, they don't know. But when you write back and says it's sensitive material and they cannot give it to me, that means What?
What?
Stealing
Exactly.
my money. And
Exactly.
they're fraudulently taking it and not telling me, and they're deceiving me.
How do we define what they're saying in terms of its sensitive material, or is that just a cop out to say, well, we don't want to tell you, and we're not going to tell you nothing? Is that what it is?
But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what they're saying. They're saying, hey, I can't tell you what I'm doing.
Right.
Because if I tell you what I'm doing, well, what's going to happen? We won't have no more banks because people will just go crazy.
You see, the thing is, most people don't understand, and I'm not being pedantic, but most people don't understand, sensitive, because the fact is, it's your material, it's your file, it's your contract. Nothing can be sensitive because it involves you and them, you and the bank. That's a contract standard.
Yeah, I understand. If you're in the contract with someone and they didn't disclose to you what they're doing, that is fraud.
Exactly.
They have to disclose, but they don't disclose, right? Because they cannot disclose that they're stealing.
Right.
Understand? So the banks, and I know recently the banks have been, because the prime is very low, the banks are after people for the properties. They will take your house in a flash.
Yes.
They don't have no qualms about taking, and they have no feelings for you, and they have people that don't know what they're doing, or don't know that it's happening to them, that's working for them.
There's been a lot of people recently losing their properties.
Yes, of course.
And for silly money, we're talking £2,000-3,000 maybe, and their whole house is being taken away from them for pittance. Now,
yes, because that's what they want. They want the house. The house is substance, something they can hold on to. The paper they give you has numbers on it, and it's not worth anything. It's made out of thin air. Because they have already got your money from your trust fund. So they give you this piece of paper with 100,000 numbers, and there's a couple of banking families that own all the banks in the world.
Right.
So they don't. When you get the check over 100,000 to sell your house, it goes straight into your bank account and numbers on the computer without you even taking the check over to your bank. It's already there.
Wow.
It's just computer numbers that go from one computer to the other. And you have this piece of paper in your hand that's not worth anything. And when you go to spend it, they say, well, you can't have more than so much per day, or you have to give us notice to give you cash, or you have to come back in 48 or 72 hours. But 72 hours is a contract law. Within 72 hours, they have to give it to you.
Okay, Zoe, I want to just jump and ask a question. When we talk about the credit card now, right? That from what I understand, that when you, for example, you purchase a sofa, right, a settee, right, but because there's no money exchange, right, the government or the bank are making money thin air, because basically you sign a contract and basically they've made money at a thin air. I wonder if you've got an insight about the whole thing about the credit card, because I think that ties in with the whole thing about the straw man, if I'm right saying so.
Okay, credit cards, first of all, how can someone lend you their credit? Okay? Anybody can have credit card company. All you have to do is print those cards out and ask people to take them, right? Now, credit card companies, they're fraudulent, very fraudulent, because you cannot lend your credit, right? Credit card companies give you only so much you can take out from the bank in cash. Okay? You can buy anything you want with the card. The company you buy from, they print out paper receipt and give it to you, and they send paper to the credit card company.
Right.
So it's no money passing anywhere where credit cards are concerned. But then, if you have a 5,000 limit and you max your card out, then you will see the other side of the company, because they will be hounding you and you will be paying forever. Because they say, okay, you can only pay the minimum amount. I know some people who spend their credit card, all of it, they max it out in December, and it takes them a whole year to the following December to pay it off, or maybe the following year. The more you pay on the credit card, the less you're paying off. It seems like it's forever you're paying them. They're getting your labor, and they're getting you what you work for. Everything you earn, if you look around you, everything you earn goes back to them.
Wow.
The wages, they're waiting for you to get your wages so you can pay all these bills. And what you're left with? Nothing. So you don't have no time to think of what they're doing to you. So you go ahead and you work for the next paycheck and the next paycheck and the next, and you have your family to take care of, and you do not have time to think, well, what the hell are these people doing to me? I'm working, but I'm not getting anywhere. You understand?
It's corporate fraud at the end of the day, isn't it, really?
Well, corporations is now, according to history, in Egypt, God sent the locusts to devour their crops in Egypt, right?
Right.
Okay, well, we have the locusts here, and they're called corporations
True.
all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're devouring the land. They're devouring everything in their path. They were modern-day locust corporations.
I gotta agree with that, most definitely. Wow. Okay, so in terms of a remedy, I mean, we're going to see you on Saturday. We're going to be, talking to the people. Well, you are going to be talking to the people, Zoe, for, to elevate them and educate them.
Yes.
Is there any message that you want to leave with the people tonight?
The people that's coming on Saturday?
Well, the people listening to this right now.
Oh, the people that's listening?
Yeah.
They need to come to our meeting on Saturday.
Right.
And they need to learn the law, because advantage is taken on the poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the world's population, I think 70% of the people are on the poverty line.
Yes.
So the 70% of the people need to know what is being done to them, so they can change their lives for the better.
Absolutely agree with that.
Knowledge, you need the knowledge, you need to know. You need to walk into a courtroom and tell the judge, well, you're doing business as judge, so how could you tell me what to do?
Exactly.
This is just business between you and I. Has nothing to do with the law. Understand? So if you know the law, you could tell the judge or the man doing business as judge.
Go on, sorry. Go on.
Okay. Then. Well, Zoe, give thanks for to phone in and just give us a little insight, synopsis of what's going to take place. And Saturday's going to be a great event, because a lot of people have been asking about this adventure and asking about you. So it's going to be a great event. So we're looking forward to seeing you Saturday, Zoe. And so,
okay.
Yeah, give thanks to you, Zoe. Give thanks.
Okay, King. Thank you.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a good evening.
Same
good
to
night.
you.
Bye, Zoe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Fantastic. So again, we had Sister Zoe on the line, and just give a little synopsis of what's taking place Saturday. Okay, then what we're going to know, we're going to batter, because again we have King Lion inside the house. I'm just going to give a little overview recap.
It's worth it. Look at yourself. Look at your dreams. Detoxify your life. I think that most people never achieve their true goals in life because they're surrounded with too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? How is it impacting my life? Am I a better person? Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. And it's powerful, but I encourage you to get the tapes. I love his voice. And he said something. He said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens unconsciously. It's not spoken. Either you adjust to their pace or they adjust to your pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? Ask yourself. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? How is it impacting my life? Am I a better person?
Hello?
Mona Brown, who's a speaker and coach, she says,
Hey, yeah, I was just calling in.
but make sure these people
That was talking about the straw man. I just caught the part where she's talking about credit or debit card. I really wanted to ask her a question.
Okay then.
Is she coming back on?
No, she won't come back on. She was phoning in, give us a little breakdown. We got King Line inside the house, so ask the question, he might be able to answer the question for you.
Oh, are you ready?
Yeah, come true.
Right, my question really is, I wanted to know how you could use the straw man principles to be able to settle debts, like credit or debit card debts, and I wanted to offer a solution.
Okay, let's hear your solution first, and then we'll see where you stand with that. Fire away, brother.
Well, the whole point is that the straw man principle is predicated on debt. And by having a knowledge of commercial exemption, it's possible to discharge debt. So the information that people need to understand is how to use the knowledge to be able to discharge debt in all the various ways and forms that it exists. And to understand that the straw man is an asset, and the asset forms part of a trust. Trust is called a SSKV trust.
Correct.
And by having an understanding of the SSKV Act of 1666, it's possible to access this trust and to be able to use the value of the trust to be able to settle debts both in the past, present and future.
Well, my brother, you've answered your own question, and I'll tell you this for nothing, you're spot on. Absolutely. You are spot on. And that's
But the information that's being relayed to the public was completely misleading as far as the strawman and strawman principles are concerned.
When you say the information that is in the public, from where, from what perspective are you talking?
No, the information that I heard from your guest wasn't anything to do with the strawman and strawman principles.
And how do you come to that?
Sorry?
How did you arrive at that?
Because I just caught the tail end of the show, and I was listening to the lady talking about debt as being a crime put upon people, and the fact that it's used to basically reach the upper limits of whatever the credit lending amount is.
Okay, so you're saying that you caught the tail end of it, so you didn't hear the entire interview, you didn't hear the entire presentation. Correct. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right, well, I'll just correct you. All of what you said in your statement, she said prior. The question, the aspect that you heard about the credit card was because Dougie asked specifically about the credit card. But prior to that, she'd addressed all of that in line with what you were saying. That's why I said to you, you're spot on in terms of what you were saying. That credit card situation was a side question which Dougie wanted because it is a personal question that he phrased. However, I'm saying everything that you said is on par. And she has said that prior to you hearing that particular tail end of the conversation.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you're a very wise brother, and I'm just saying, go true soldier. Love to see you down there Saturday. Let yourself be known so that we can connect. Yeah, because man like you, we need to liaise with, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, you coming true on Saturday? You coming true on Saturday?
I'm not aware of what's happening on Saturday.
Okay, well let me.
I've only caught the last part of the show.
Okay, well hold tight. I'm going to read out to you exactly what's going on then. Yeah, on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 24th of September, we got Meet Your Straw Man, and the content is going to be what is the straw man and its purpose.
Yeah.
Is it real? Where did it come from? Who created it? Is it worth money? And how do I take control of it? Now this is going to be at the Parkview Academy in West Green Road, Tottenham, N15. Doors open at 4 p.m. Show starts at 5. We roll through till 7. It's going to be presented by the lady that you heard on the phone called Zoe. We advise people to bring pens and papers. There will be no recording whatsoever of this particular session. Yeah, so bring pen and paper. Ask as many questions as you like. No problem. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If you're going to provide people with definitive proof that the strawman and the strawman principles are legal, which hopefully you will be, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Absolutely.
How do you mean to be able to do that?
Well, the first thing is that we're not coming from a legal perspective, because the legal perspective puts us right back into their paradigm. So we're stepping out of their legal perspective into the lawful perspective. Yeah, where everything is based on divine divine law. Go ahead.
Rather than me spend time beating about the bush, you're familiar with the Waller and Hughes case, right?
Sorry, repeat that again, sorry.
Are you familiar with Waller and Hughes versus the US government?
No, I'm not.
In that case, take a note of what I'm going to give you.
Alright, hold tight. Let me grab myself a pen. And I've got myself a pen. I just need a bit of paper. And I'll make a note. Okay. Right. Fire away, brother.
Let me spell the names to you.
Right.
It's WAHLER.
WAHLER.
Comma Hughes. HUGHES. And it's versus the US government. This is a Supreme Court case that took place in 2010.
Okay.
It's a sealed case.
Okay.
And it's sealed specifically for a reason, so that this information
does not get released to the public.
But in spite of the fact that it's sealed, you can go to a particular website and you can access the transcript of the case, the verdict, and everything that relates to this case.
Okay.
The website to go to is called myprivateaudio.com.
Fantastic.
Now, you go to paragraph 6 of the indictment. It will specify, and it's very specific, about naming the strawman principles, and the fact that the conspirators used strawman principles to create bills of exchange promising us the whole negotiable instruments. And as a result of it, they were charged with about 21 counts by the law enforcement agencies in the US. The case went to the Supreme Court. Any results that happen at the Supreme Court means that it's legal. So, it means that it becomes law.
Right.
And the Supreme Courts around the world all share the same results of the court cases, so that the law across the world is uniform.
Yes, under the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code.
No, not under the UCC. Under normal, traditional rules of the court system across the world, across each jurisdiction. Now, this case, like I say, in 2010 means it just happened yesterday.
Right.
The results of it exonerated and found every one of the individuals not guilty of using the strawman principles to be able to do things which the case will explain to you.
Okay. So
Now, the importance of what I'm sharing with you means that this sets a precedent where people that use the strawman principles can rely on this case to prove that what they're doing is in no way illegal.
right.
If you contrast what I'm telling you with what's stated in Wikipedia about the strawman and strawman principles, you'll find that they're diametric opposites. It's a very, very important case. And the reason why it's been sealed is because it will later be used by the government to prove, let's call it, what should I call it? It's plausible deniability. When anybody goes to accuse the government of masterminding this and using the straw man in a unethical way, they're going to point to this case and they're going to say to everybody that this case exonerated and proved that the straw man techniques are completely above board, completely legal, and it's not for the government to tell everybody, it's for the government to make themselves aware of the law.
Yes.
And ignorance of the law is no
It's no
excuse.
defense, exactly.
So there lies the evidence that shows that not only the government are exonerated of any wrongdoing, but that it's you, the individual, who not being aware of this case and the law, that has not seen that it's completely, totally legitimate and above board.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That's something that should be shared with the listening audience right now.
Well, my brother, you've done so, and you've done it very eloquently, I must say. And you know what I mean. You shed some light. See, this is the beauty of each one teaching one, because you shared something with me that I didn't know, and now that I'm in the know, I'm certainly going to go and check it. Most definitely. I want to commend you for your diligence in this and for bringing it to the table. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Let me leave you now.
All right, appreciate love. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday, man.
Done.
Yep. So, my brother, do you know where to go Saturday? You still there? Okay then. Excellent call. Yes, what's taking place Saturday? Read out the address again.
Okay, bruv. So, and for all listening ears, it's going to be at Parkview Academy. That's West Green Road, Tottenham N15. Okay, doors open at 4 p.m. This particular session, Meet Your Straw Man, starts at 5 p.m. runs through till 7. Okay. Also, there on the flip side, we've got another event that's going to be starting from 7:30, running on till 9:30, and that's the etymology and the Kemetic roots of words. Yeah, so you got a two program event happening on the same day. Okay, so be there. Yeah, it's a day of serious learning, serious wisdom, serious knowledge, and if you're that way inclined, you know what I mean, bring your children, get your children educated, because you know what I mean, we got to do for self, we got to educate and elevate the children, because the future is about the children. Yeah, you educate, you elevate them, educate them with this, you know what I mean, and when you learn this, yeah, then you can put your children in good check, so that they won't have to go through what we're going through in terms of suffering and tribulation. Okay. Caller, good evening and welcome. This is SLR. This is Final Voice. This is King Lion on the microphone. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Sir Dougie. How are you? How is everyone?
Everybody's good.
How are you, King Lion?
Yeah. Everybody good. Yeah. Okay, then. You have a question, Sister Juliet?
Well, interesting show.
Well, Juliet, sorry, we didn't realize that. Good evening, my dear. How art thou?
Hi, good evening. Greetings, everyone.
Lovely.
Yeah, interesting show.
Thank you. What did go ahead.
The gentleman that called in just about a couple of minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was very interesting.
Yes.
And what he said is absolutely true.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say. I think people need to really research commercial redemption.
Yes.
And as he said, it's not about talking about the subject. I think it's about enforcement. So that's what I really wanted to say about that subject.
Okay, I just want to address a point.
Talk too much about in public.
Right, true indeed. I just want to address a point as well. You're right about enforcement, but equally, it's education. So once you're educated, then you can enforce. Because
I understand what you're saying.
Because people,
saying, and education is key.
Yes.
Knowledge is key as well. It's not just, it's what you do with it and how you use it effectively.
Yes.
And how you understand it. But, one of the things I just wanted to also say, having heard what she said about Strawman as well, was that it's also Latin, and it's Stramius Homo, and it comes from different sort of principles as well, but like I said, it's something that I'm looking forward to hearing about.
Fantastic.
I was just listening on the radio and I found it quite interesting, but the gentleman who called in with the proof,
yes,
and that case, I've actually seen it myself.
Oh, right on.
So I can definitely say that I've seen the outcome of the case, and it's an amazing case.
Brilliant.
You must read it.
I'm on it.
It's phenomenal.
When I head out here tonight, I'm heading straight onto my computer and I'm on that. Believe.
Yeah. Waller and Hughes versus US is amazing. But I called to speak a little bit about Saturday.
Right.
As you know, Working Action Group will be there in effect.
Okay.
And looking forward to giving a little presentation about what's going on. And we've been going from strength to strength, really.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really well. And wanted to talk a little bit about the word, the etymology.
Okay.
Because I feel that it's something that's really crucial and something that's really important.
Yeah, I agree.
Because words are also crucial to commercial redemption. So the two kind of tie in.
Indeed.
And I'm not sure if people have made that connection. So I wanted to sort of connect about that as well.
That's great. Go ahead, Juliet. It's all yours. Go ahead and make it plain.
Okay, thank you. Well, basically, all I was saying is that the etymology of words and the connection to chemic is quite interesting. There's been a recent study which has actually found that the birth of certain etymology of words have actually been founded in South Africa, and that it actually migrated down. So there's been a recent study from a scholar, South African scholar that I'm following. So I'm going to be really interested in what they've got to say about the etymology, because if what they're saying about where the word foundations are coming from South Africa, it changes our whole geographical look at where the origins come from.
Wow.
Yeah, phenomenal. So I just wanted to really share that. So it's going to be an interesting day. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay. I'm going to give a 10-minute presentation about Working Action Group.
Okay.
Just to bring everybody up to speed and to talk about our unconscious and conscious bias program. And also to talk about what we're doing with our membership and the community and our principles. Because one of the things that we wasn't able to talk about at the launch were our principles. And so I'd like to briefly touch on our 10% principle. And the 10% principle is good in a sense, in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of commercial redemption. The 10% principle is about us in our community empowering ourselves economically as well. Not in that way, but in terms of everything that we do, we give back. So we can become self-sustaining.
Yes.
And we have a pot, a community pot that everybody puts a percentage into. So I'm really looking forward to saying that. Our system is not the same as everybody else's, but it is quite a really kind of self-fulfilling community-based project, and I just can't wait to talk about it because, like I said, we didn't have as much time as I wanted to go into detail before, so I'll only have 10 minutes, but I'm sure I can explain it in about 5.
Yeah. Judith, the other thing about the word, I wonder, just put that down again. Could you say that it came from South Africa?
Well, basically, some of the root words and root form of words that are claimed to be commission have been found to have roots in South African in certain groups. And there's particular people which are called, for English language, lion people. And these lion people have got the root words. They're an ancient people. And they claim that the language and the roots of these words actually come from them.
Okay.
And it's a big study going on right now.
Right. Okay, then, because it's quite interesting because we do have the wordsmith inside the host, so he'll probably touch on that. James, do you want to touch on that now, or you want to wait a little bit? Let's just not just say. No, what you just say. I don't heard the reason what you say that it came from South Africa. Yep.
Well, I think it come from in Africa, went out
to banana. Come in the mic, James, please. Yeah. Inside the host, we will have James inside the host. So, James, reason with Sister Juliet. Come true.
Greetings, Sister Juliet. Yeah, thanks for bringing
Greetings, Brother Chandler.
Thanks for bringing that reasoning to the table and that enlightening us on that. Yeah, well, yes, the language did start from inner Africa and then it spread to outer Africa. It's just that the evidence is still there in outer Africa, but yes, there was the core, especially in Ethiopia, that the language did. And if you look at the different sounds, you see the same sounds are still present today. There's a link in the sounds, and you can see that that is prevailed in the language system. So, is there any more you can enlighten us about the base in South Africa? Hello, sister.
Sorry?
Is there any more you can enlighten us about the language roots in South Africa?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you more. The person that's the expert on it, I'm going to try and invite him along on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You can have a conversation.
So is that where the roots, what is claimed that they started, is it in South Africa, the roots of language?
Yeah, he's been doing a huge project comparing root words from Commission Africa and then looking at the commonality between the languages around Africa.
Right.
And what he found in his study, because he kind of calls me up all the time and, with his new eureka moments, and what he's found is that there's a connection to particular groups. And in I think more times than most than it's in South Africa.
Wow.
So he found quite a lot of the same root groups. And for example, one of the words that he told me about was the word, not oracle, what's the word? Begins with O. It's like the word for a spirit entity, beginning with O. And they say in, not oracle, I forgot the word, but basically it's a similar word to oracle, but when you put it into his language, it's the same as commission. And then there was like, not just that, Orisha, thank you, I remember, I knew it would come back to me. It was the word Orisha, and then he started with that and looked at various other words, and then these words have been carried. So what he was looking at is the migration gone from Kemet to South Africa, or was it from South Africa to Kemet?
Right.
Because the words are the same.
Well, the basis of it is still that it's Africa. Africa is the origination of words, wherever part it is. You know, it's come from Africa. But I'm pleased to know that. I'm pleased to know that because my dad was South African, so that's great. Hopefully, that's something that's rubbed off on me. You know, yeah. My mum's Jamaican, my dad's South Africa, so hopefully that's rubbed off on me while I'm been able to do what I'm doing. So I'm really interested in what you found there. You know, so that's excellent. Yeah. So so I'm looking forward to your presentation. Sister, on a Saturday.
Okay, Sister Juliet.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Did you speak to sorry to jump in. Did you speak to Kwesi? Have he spoken to you yet?
Did I speak to who?
Kwesi. Has he rang you?
Who?
Kwesi.
I can't understand you properly.
No, Kwesi? Has anybody named Kwesi rang you?
No, Kwesi didn't ring me.
Okay.
I met with Levi Root.
Okay then. No, I'm talking about Kwesi because he's supposed to give you a call. But anyway, he hasn't called you, so he'll probably give you a call tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay? All
yeah,
right.
Sure thing.
All right.
I think the event's going to be packed on Saturday, and I hope everybody that's listening comes on that, attend. It'll be a really, really good event.
Oh yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot about the straw man. Because many years ago, I used to watch a program on Channel 200. I don't know if anybody else used to watch Conscious TV.
Yes.
You did as well.
Yeah.
And so there was a program on there, and I used to watch it, and that's where I first learnt about the concept. And so. I'm not a practitioner or anything, but I did sort of look into it and then go online, and but I didn't do anything with the knowledge. So it would be nice to actually see how you apply it. So I'm hoping that there'll be the lady. What's her name? Zoe. Yeah. I hope that Zoe will be teaching us how to apply the straw man.
Absolutely.
She will be.
Oh yeah. That's the
so that's why we need our pens and our paper.
Now you got it. That's the whole purpose of this event, basically. You know what I mean? It's to set the captives free. You know what I mean? So education is the key. So that's where we're going. Absolute.
Wow. Yeah. This is an ambitious endeavour, and I look forward to learning.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely. Each one teaching one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the gentleman before was spot on.
Okay.
And so when he said what he said, I was like, yeah, I knew what he said was real, because for me, everything is evidential. So if you can't show me evidence that it actually, has worked effectively for anyone, I'm not as enthusiastic about it. But by him coming onto the show and showing that evidence, I hope everybody realises the gravity of what he was saying.
Yes.
Because what it does, it literally gives you the proof. So it's not just talk, it's proof.
Okay then. Okay, Sister Juliet, give
Okay,
thanks.
my darling. I'll see you on Saturday.
No problem. All right then.
Take care.
Okay, nice one, everyone. Take care, Sam. Take care, King Lion.
Okay then. Give thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Okay then. What we're gonna do here? We're going to hold on. You got to be hungry.
Dennis Kimbrough, motivational speaker out of Atlanta, he said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. Get a new group. So, as you look at yourself and look into the future, call forth your team. You've got to look at the people in your life and
Yes,
ask yourself
greetings.
the question, what is this relationship?
Yeah, I'm calling back. I spoke to somebody regarding commercial redemption. I just wanted to come back and provide the link between commercial redemption and something else that was just mentioned on the show, and that is the Kemetic ancestry that exists in Jamaica, in Africa, and the whole idea of language.
Right. Okay, brother, fire away, man. We're all ears.
Okay. When there's people out there that already study commercial redemption and they've got a faith in it, which is good because the knowledge about commercial redemption is spreading.
So, brother, you're gonna have to speak up because we're losing you. Can you just
can you
repeat?
hear me now?
Loud and clear. Please repeat what you were saying.
I said that the knowledge of commercial redemption is spreading, it's gaining momentum,
Yes.
and more people are getting to grips with it
Yes.
and using it and realizing that it is a very, very powerful tool once it's learnt and understood properly.
Clear.
But there is a very spiritual side to commercial redemption,
Absolutely.
which people will eventually find out, but the sooner they find out, the better.
Yes.
And so what I wanted to share with you is how it's possible to access that spiritual side, and it does tie into the subject matter that's been discussed at this weekend's event when it comes to the whole issue of Kemet.
Hold on, brother. Your phone's gone quiet again. Speak up again. Sorry. That's it. Good. Got you good.
The point that I was making is that there's a connection between commercial redemption, the straw man,
Yes.
and the spiritual understanding that comes behind it,
Yes.
and the issue of Kemet and Africa.
Okay.
And what I wanted to do was to explain what the connection is.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man. We're
Okay.
listening.
Most people will come to understand commercial redemption as being something that's been created by some very powerful individuals or families that came together to want to, let's say, retain control over the knowledge that they had about money.
Right.
And in order for them to do so, they decided to put together a construct that spread worldwide, which enabled them to put people in a position where they were able to take away the wealth away from people in terms of the gold that they had, using something called Bill 227 in the UK and HJR 192 in the US. These two, HJR 192 stands for House Joint Resolution 192, and Bill 227 is its equivalent in the UK.
Right.
This meant that gold was taken away from everybody, and everybody was basically, it was replaced with notes.
Right.
Federal Reserve notes and pound notes in the UK.
Right.
Now, as a result of the movement of gold from people into central banks like the Bank of England, and eventually into the hands of manipulators, it meant that the manipulators now had control of the gold. And people had essentially money that's got no value.
Absolutely.
So bankruptcy came into existence. And this is one of the tools that was used by the manipulators to get the government to pass legislation that robbed people of what was material wealth at the time. Okay, without going into too much detail, there is a sequence of events, and it all starts from the very first bankruptcy in 1860, and then 70 years on in 1930, and then the final bankruptcy cycle which started in the year 2000 in the US, 2010 in the UK.
Okay, just repeat those 3 dates again. 1860.
1860,
Mm-hmm.
1930,
Mm-hmm.
and then 70 years on from that takes you to the year 2000
Right. Okay.
in the US.
Right.
In the UK, it's 10 years later, which is 2010.
Okay.
Now, each one of these bankruptcy cycles is very, very important because you cannot go past a third bankruptcy.
Ah.
It means that after the third bankruptcy, the debt has to be settled, the debt has to be paid. And the debt is with the government of the countries concerned.
Right.
Okay. In commercial redemption, there are 3 stages or 3 main processes that people get to understand.
Mm-hmm.
The first one's called A for V, accepted for value.
Yes. Familiar.
That's one where you endorse bills that come through your door, send them back, and these bills get paid.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is called the OID, refund. OID stands for original issue discount. It's where you've paid the bill, and you've got your bank statements to show the money that's come out your bank account. You can then make an application using forms from the IRS in the US, and you can claim back all the money that's come out your account for the past 3 years.
Okay, just stop a minute. Is there equivalent here in the UK that we can go to, or do we have to deal with America specifically on the OID issue?
When you understand the hierarchy, you'll find that the top of the organizations that have been designed to manage these operations worldwide essentially are out of the US.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that they haven't got
An equivalent.
sub-agencies that exist throughout the countries across the world. And in the UK, the equivalent is to make your application through the Inland Revenue.
Exactly.
And whereas the forms that you'd use in the US would be something called a 1040-NR,
Mm-hmm.
you've got your normal tax return in the UK. And the section on the tax return deals with something called deeply discounted securities.
Repeat that again.
Whereas-
Sorry, repeat that again.
I said the section on the tax return that deals with the equivalent is called deeply discounted securities.
Be discounted. Okay.
But there's something more important that I wanted to get to.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
The final process would be for you to be able to access all of the funds that are made available to you via your straw ban, which are currently sitting in a trust.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that's being able to access the trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another process. All of this is documented, and the information's out there for everybody to find. And with the advent of the internet, it is possible for people to find this information. Now, these 3 processes mimic the 3 bankruptcies that I've just mentioned and the dates. And so if the person who's taking the class on Saturday is able to explain this, it would go a long way to showing the pattern. But when you look at the thinking behind the people who put together this structure,
Mm-hmm.
they had to find a model that they could copy,
Mm-hmm.
and a model that suited exactly what they wanted to do.
Yes.
Now, this whole system of commercial redemption is predicated on debt.
Absolutely.
And the idea is to try and put as much debt on every living being as possible.
Absolute.
Given that they've already taken the gold away from everybody,
Mm-hmm.
the idea is that nobody can reach a position where they can mount a challenge against these people and the unlimited wealth that they've got. And the mastermind.
We're losing you, brother. But sorry, brother.
To keep this debt in place.
Right. Sorry, we were losing you. Then your phone went a little bit muggy.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, just repeat again what you said. That the last sentence, what you just said, please.
I said that the people that have put this together have done so because they've achieved a position where they've obtained ultimate wealth.
Yes.
And through that ultimate wealth, they want to make sure that nobody else can become an opposition to what it is that they do. And so the idea is to take the wealth away from everybody, which is what has been achieved already, through the removal of gold.
Yes.
And now to put debt on people so that they're forever putting whatever their efforts, energy and time into,
right,
keeping their heads above water by meeting whatever debts that come their way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the most important part was the fact that this whole model, which is being perfected all the time, had to follow a certain plan. And it had to be a plan that suited the same aims. And so the model that they looked at was the biblical story. And if you see how sin has come about in the biblical way, and you map it against how debt has been orchestrated by mankind,
yes,
you'll find that the parallels are not a coincidence. And indeed, what's being taught on Saturday regarding the straw man should be likened to the biblical story of how Jesus came into existence. And if you recognize the Bible, it talks about Jesus coming to existence and being recognized during his, what was it that happened? He was John the Baptist. When he was baptized, the heavens opened and the light came through, and it was at that point that Jesus' existence was recognized. It wasn't his birth. In the same way that people's straw man becomes recognized based on the registration of their birth. Now, the death of Jesus marked him paying a ransom price, and that ransom price was to pay for people's sins, past, present, and future. These manipulators have taken the story and created this trust, and the trust is to pay for debts, both past, present, and future.
Absolutely.
There are a few thousand incidences which you can use to compare against the story of commercial redemption, and you'll see that it's no fluke. I've just given you two. There's lots more. But the point is, if the biblical story has been used, then you have to think to yourself that who's responsible for the biblical story? And the myth is that, and I'm not here to upset people that are Christians and read the Bible from page to page and see it as being a sacred book. But the story is that the book was written by men inspired by God. Now what you'll find is that there is a strong correlation between the biblical story and the movement of the celestial bodies. And so there is a division called astrotheology that deals with being able to tell the story of the Bible so accurately that it can't be a coincidence that the movement of the planets, the stars, and the universe maps out the biblical story to a T. Now, when you look at people that understand this, let's call it a science in itself,
which it is,
you'll find that people on YouTube like Santos Bonacci are experts in it.
Absolutely.
So there are people, living people right now, who can decipher the movements of the planets as it relates to the biblical story.
One
now
person,
that to me
seems
like a more credible version of the biblical story than what mankind has written. For the sheer fact that mankind didn't create the universe, and the universe gave rise to the story. Now, when you start to look at the people that can make sense of the universe and its movements, the only people that I've been able to find are a tribe of people out of West Africa who were the